Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Changes for Samantha. Chapter 5, Together. For the next few days, Samantha felt as if she lived in two different worlds. In one world, she made valentines and cookies with Aunt Cornelia. She went to school, practiced her ice skating, and joked with Uncle Guard, just as usual. The other world was smaller and quieter, but just as happy. The world was hidden away upstairs in the room where her secret family lived. Samantha was a very important member of that family. It was up to her to be sure that Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny had food to eat, water for drinking and washing, books to read, everything they need. Every morning until dawn, Nellie crept down the back stairs, climbed out the cellar window, and went about the city looking for work. She was gone all day. Bridget and Jenny stayed in the attic, playing with paper dolls and napping and whispering quietly together. After their horrible days with their uncle and at the orphanage, they were happy to stay safe and cozy in their secret hideaway. And Nellie was always glad to get back to them at the end of the day. Now, Samantha loved being with Nellie again, and she liked being a big sister to Bridget and Jenny. Whenever she could manage it, she slipped away to the upstairs with her secret sisters. It was easy for Samantha to keep them happy and amused. They all loved to hear her tell about Aunt Cornelia and Uncle Guard. They asked hundreds of questions. What color was Aunt Cornelia wearing today? What did Uncle Guard say when Samantha got an A on a spelling test? Did Aunt Cornelia finish the valentine she was making? What did they look like? When were Aunt Cornelia and Samantha going to give Guard his valentine? The three girls listened to everything Samantha said with glowing eyes. Well, said Jenny one day, I think your Aunt Cornelia and Uncle are the finest lady and gentleman in New York City. Yes, agreed Bridget. The only thing I liked at Cold Rock House was when they visited. Once your Uncle Guard gave me a peppermint, and Miss Fauci didn't see. She remembered. I made that peppermint last a long, long time. I wish I could have another one right now. I wish you could too, sighed Samantha. She was having a hard time finding enough food for the hungry girls. Samantha gave them most of her lunch, all of her afternoon snack, and anything else she could smuggle from the pantry. One day she brought bread at the bakery and hurried home with the loaf hidden under the plaid cape. Another day she tried to bring a pot of cocoa to the girls. Bridget was catching a cold, and Samantha wanted her to have something warm to drink. But Gertrude stopped her at the kitchen door. Where are you going with that pot of cocoa? Gertrude asked sharply. Upstairs, said Samantha. I won't have chocolate spilled all over your bedroom, said Gertrude. Sit here on the kitchen table and drink it. Though I do not understand why you need to drink a whole pot of cocoa. I've never seen a child eat and drink as much as you have lately. Glass after glass of milk, tea cakes and sandwiches all the livelong day. All the fruit from the bowl in the dining room. The way the food disappears in this house, you'd think we'd have 10 children living here instead of just one. Samantha gulped her cocoa. Gertrude was getting suspicious. So the next evening, when Samantha sneaked in the pantry, she tried to be very, very careful. Quietly, she opened the cookie jar. Quietly, she took out 3 of the heart-shaped cookies she and Aunt Cornelia had made. She wanted to have a little party for Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny because the next day was Valentine's Day. She put the cookies in her pocket, turned to go, and there was Gertrude. Gertrude blocked the doorway, her hands on her hips. Cookies, she snapped. You just had dinner. She frowned at Samantha. Are you keeping a pet in this house? Is there some animal up in the attic? Is that what you've been feeding? No, oh no, said Samantha nervously. All week I've heard scratches and scurrying up there at night when I'm in bed, said Gertrude. There's something up there. I don't know whether it's mice or ghosts or thieves, but I'll find out sooner than soon. Samantha hurried with a cookie. She knew what Gertrude was hearing. She'd have to warn the girls, and fast. Okay, so a little side note. You see Gertrude talking really crappily to Samantha, and same with Elsa when she was living with Grandmary's house. Okay, from what I know about this period of time, no servant would talk to the child of their employer that way. Like, just wouldn't fly. Okay, anyway. As soon as she was out of Gertrude's sight, she ran up to the stairs. They're going to have to be quieter than ever, Samantha panted to Jenny and Bridget. Gertrude said she's hearing noises, and Nellie, maybe you better not go out for a few days. I'm afraid she might catch you on the stairs. Nellie agreed sadly. I haven't had any luck finding work anyway. She said no one wants me for a maid. They think I don't look strong enough. She sounded discouraged. I think I'll probably have to go back to the thread factory where I worked before we moved to Mount Bedford. Don't give up, Nellie, said Samantha. It's only been a few days. I know, said Nellie, but we can't stay up here forever. Samantha knew Nellie was right, but she didn't know what to do. Then suddenly the door flew open and Gertrude stormed in. Whatever is going on here? She demanded. Who are these children? What are they doing here? What have you been up to, Miss Samantha? Samantha couldn't think of anything at all to say. She just sat there miserably. Well, said Gertrude with a smirk, I think you better come with me. These ragamuffins had better come too. Just wait till your aunt and uncle hear about this. You certainly got some explaining to do, young lady. Now get downstairs. Gertrude crossed her arms on her chest and glared at the girls as they followed slowly past her down the stairs. Samantha's heart sank with every step she took. Her plan had failed. Now the girls would have to go back to Cold Rock House. They'd have to face Miss Fauci and punishment for running away, and worse than that, they would probably be separated, probably forever. Nellie would be sent away from the orphan train. Gertrude followed the girls in the parlor where Uncle Guard and Aunt Cornelia were sitting by the fire. When they saw Nellie and her sisters, they both gasped. Why, Nellie, Bridget, Jenny, what are you doing here? Asked Aunt Cornelia. Begging your pardon, madam, said Gertrude, her eyes bright with self-importance. These ragamuffins were being erratic. Street children, no better than beggars. They've probably been sneaking through their house, stealing from you. That's not true, burst out Samantha. They never take anything. Then who's been stealing all the food? Asked Gertrude. I have, said Samantha. She was so mad she was almost crying. I'm the thief, not them. Now let's calm down, said Uncle Guard. Samantha, perhaps you can explain all this. Well, she began, but then Bridget just sneezed. First, you better come down here and sit warm, Aunt Cornelia said gently. The four girls sat on the floor in front of the fire. Samantha began again. It's all my fault. Nellie didn't run away from the orphanages, but Miss Fauci was going to send her on the orphan train. Bridget and Jenny were too young to go, so they would have to stay at Cold Rock House. They would have never seen Nellie again, so I talked Nellie into coming here just until she could find a job where they could be all together. How long have they been here? Asked Aunt Cornelia. About 4 days, said Samantha. 4 days? Exclaimed Aunt Cornelia. Well, how'd they eat? I brought them food, said Samantha. Gertrude is wrong. They'd never steal. I know that's true, said Aunt Cornelia. Uncle Guard didn't say anything. He just stared at the four girls. Aunt Cornelia looked at him. Well, Gardner, this is a very serious matter. What do you think we should do with these girls? Give them warm baths and put them to bed, said Guard firmly. We can decide the rest in the morning. And that's exactly what they did. That night, Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny slept in Samantha's room. This is probably the last time we'll be together, thought Samantha as she watched the girls sleeping. Their faces were pink and peaceful in the firelight. Later that night, Samantha heard low murmurs coming from Uncle Guard and Aunt Cornelia's room. She knew they were deciding what to do with Nellie and Bridget and Jenny. Would they send them back to Cold Rock House? Would they let them stay here for a little while longer? Would they try to find Nellie's uncle? Suddenly, Samantha couldn't wonder or worry any longer. She fell asleep. The next morning, when the girls came downstairs, there were 3 more places at the breakfast table. In every place, there was a big red heart trimmed with lace. Happy Valentine's Day, girls, said Aunt Cornelia. Happy Valentine's Day, they all replied. Let's have some breakfast, Uncle Gar said cheerfully. The 4 girls sat down but before she could swallow a crumb, Samantha's curiosity made her burst out. Uncle Guard, Aunt Cornelia, have you decided? What are you going to do about Nellie and Bridget and Jenny? Couldn't they stay here? They wouldn't be any trouble, and they'd be a big help around the house. They've all been taught to be maids. We don't need any more maids, said Aunt Cornelia. Samantha's heart sank. But we do need more girls around here, said Uncle Gar. I said we need 3 more girls, and a variety of size is a tiny, medium, and still not very big. He turned to Nellie. Miss Nellie O'Malley, how would you and Bridget and Jenny like to stay here? You could be sisters to Samantha and daughters to Cornelia and me. Nellie looked very serious. We would like that very much. Hooray, shouted Samantha. She bounced out of her chair and ran to hug Aunt Cornelia, then Nellie, Bridget, and Jenny. Then all 4 girls hugged Uncle Gard and showered him with kindness. Well, smiled Uncle Gard, what a lovely Valentine's Day this turned out to be. I have 5 of the sweetest Valentines could ever have. I must be the luckiest person in the entire world. Samantha laughed. No, Uncle Gard, she said. I'm the luckiest person in the world. At last, I have a real family of my own. And that is the end of the Samantha stories. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.